Hey everybody, hope we're doing well. Welcome back to an episode of CSGO News. As always, time marks for every story are down below in the description for all of you. Welcome back to our first episode of CSGO News in a long time on this channel. I had a few day break for a lot of tests and quizzes and speeches I've been doing throughout school, but our breakout story today, our first story for all of you. If many of you guys have noticed your community servers are broken, that is true. Our latest CSGO update, I'll link those notes down below for all of you. Our latest CSGO update came out a few hours ago, and it actually broke a lot of community servers on the current version of CSGO you are currently playing. Now, why I'm saying current version is because this update brought a lot of updates for Perfect World and the Chinese version of CSGO, and seemingly has somehow broken community servers you guys play. Surf servers, deathmatch servers, 1v1, A maps, a lot of those servers at this point in time are currently broken. Now, why that is, the information I've been giving at this point in time, the fix is on Valve's end. Valve has actually changed, and so a lot of these servers had to change their source mods as well as their meta mods. Meta mods being the source for source mods. At this point in time, that's the only information we have as an apparent fix to this, actual solution to this problem. At this point in time, it's on Valve's end, and of course, all these servers you guys play have to update their source and their code as well. Now, I'm not really sure on the technological side, but at this point in time, all I know is the update was actually a great update for Chinese CSGO. A lot of updates going on that server, obviously, as they develop that game more and more over the past few weeks, but it has currently broken a lot of community servers you guys play, so wait, and we'll actually inform all of you guys when the update and actual fix has been found for this problem. Also, in more news, our actual official first story for all of you before that breakout story happened, we had Peacemaker call out North American pro players. Now, this has always been a concern for North American pro players. A lot of pro talent as well as commentators, analysts have come out over the past few months and the past few years and said that North American pro players have always had a different kind of view on the game, where they care more about selling their brand, making the organization money, than actually going out and winning tournaments and becoming the best team in the world. It's been a common stigma among players, among analysts and commentators, and actually more confirmed so because Peacemaker, many of you guys know, former Tempo Storm coach and Liquid coach, and now currently the Misfits coach, all North American organizations if you count the Brazilian Tempo Storm. I'm actually going to link the interview down below. He came out with an interview and actually admitted that this was a kind of a true stigma. He said, quote unquote, in the interview, guys, I see a lot of North American pro players caring way too much about money, rank S, subscribers, and selling their brand, and way less about becoming a top team or a top player. So I wanted to kind of share that with all of you guys. I take Louis' advice very, very seriously. He's a great guy and has a lot of great references when it comes to North American and South American Brazilian experience. And so for him to come out and say this in an interview should mean a lot to all of you guys who are worried about North American talent. So I did want to mention that, and that interview will be down below for all of you. So on to our next story though, and better news for CSGO. And I totally lied to you guys. A little bit more bad news for CSGO, and what I mean by bad news is ESL has now announced a new rule. Now, I'm kind of on the fence as of right now what I think about this rule. It does make sense in context, but I wanted to wait a few days to share this ruling with all of you guys, the new ESL rule on academy teams, because I wanted to gather more insight on what my stance would be about this rule. Now, for the time being, you guys know, about a month ago, ESL announced their newest rule on VAC bans. That means any player who has a VAC ban on record only has to wait a 2-year time period and then can participate in any ESL-oriented events. That means ESL Pro League, any ESL major events, as well as just big events in general. We have ESL 1 Cologne coming in July. 2-year VAC ban players, as long as that 2 years is up and expired by the time the event is around, they can qualify for the event, attend the event, and actually play in it. And so that was their new rule, kind of met with controversy there. And now this new rule has to do with new academy teams, or academy teams in general. And many of you guys know why I'm actually bringing this up. Over the past year, we've had countless academy teams surface around the European area. I can name off the top of my head Fnatic Academy, Epsilon, Gambit, Space Soldiers, Trix. I think we have MVP Project, other Korean and Asian teams announcing academy teams. At this point in time, no Brazilian or North American academy teams that we know of, and this might not help that in the fact that ESL has now announced that organizations can only have one team attend all their oriented events. Now, this does not mean for any other event organizers out there, but at this point in time, for ESL only, they're only going to allow one team under each umbrella to actually participate in each and every event. Now, what I mean by that, so let's say Fnatic actually qualifies, or they're invited to ESL 1 Cologne, which they were. They attend the event. That means no matter what, through the qualifiers, no matter what, Fnatic Academy can also not go there. Only one organizational team, so that means if a Fnatic Academy or any academy team out there qualifies or manages to be invited to an actual event, they cannot go if their main roster is going, or their organization is given the choice. And of course, given the benefit of the doubt, they're going to choose the main roster over the academy team. And it kind of makes sense to a degree. If you have an organization owning 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 teams, and they're trying to dominate one event and place all their teams in that event, it makes sense. But we really should have a cap here. My personal opinion was this: have it capped off at 2 teams. You can have your main team, you can have an academy team, you can't have more than 2. That's what would make most sense to me. But at this point in time, it has now been official. ESL-oriented events cannot now allow more than 1 team per organization. Now, why there's actually a conflict of interest here, many of you guys know about ES Force. They actually have a holding and ownership, partial ownership, in both Virtus Pro and SK Gaming, and people are complaining about this. They've been at several countless events, pretty much every big event. SK Gaming and Virtus Pro have both been there, and so what does that have to do with, even the last ESL major, they were both there. So what happens now in the future with those two teams having ownership in both those big organizations, can they only have Virtus Pro or SK there? So that's the conflict of interest going forward, and that's the big kind of elaboration. Again, I'll link that article down below for all of you guys. What do you think? Comment down below. What do you guys think about the Academy ruling? I think kind of unfair for an Academy team, especially they fight through a qualifying process and manage to qualify, or they had the chance to, but now they just won't even get the chance or opportunity to. And speaking of Virtus Pro and SK Gaming and miscellaneous news for all of you, they have now finalized their rosters for their football match. Going to be going on in July, 1 week after ESL 1 Cologne, and then 1 week before the major as well. I'll link those rosters on screen for all of you. The only notable thing as of right now for both these rosters is the only active player for both these CSGO rosters that won't be there will be Bialy from Virtus Pro. So kind of upsetting there. He's not going to be participating in the actual soccer match or football match here between these two teams. But that was the miscellaneous news for all of you. On top of that, I've been surfing the web. Of course, I do love Hiko. Many of you guys know former Liquid Hiko was also played a short time on OpTic. He actually talked about his background of his short stint with OpTic Gaming, his long-term affair with Liquid, as well as some other details you guys want to hear about. I will link this interview. We actually did it on live stream for all of you. I'll timestamp it down below for all of you. And I highly encourage all of you North American players and fans of Hiko or fans of Liquid and OpTic Gaming to listen to through all of this to kind of find a background about the relationships between these players. A lot of things came out about Elige, Simple, not having the best relationships between not only each other but other players. There was actually things leaked by Hiko, like Elige didn't get along with Hiko himself or Adren or many of the teammates on the team. If you guys want to hear more about that, which I highly encourage, if you guys want to learn more about the background of the CSGO teams, that will be linked down below for all of you, because Hiko did a great job last night on live stream explaining all that kind of stuff. So that was in miscellaneous news for all of you guys. And I do apologize for another short episode of CSGO News. I haven't had too many stories this past week or so because, again, I've been so busy with finals. I have one more week. We have this week and the next week I'll be done with school for good. I guess for the summer being, I'll be going full time, and I will have better episodes and some more different kind of videos on this channel for all of you guys. But our last story today, I will touch on this more in the future. We have officially, as of right now, guys, Winterfox has disbanded. Now, many of you guys know I talked about this last week. Their owner has actually abandoned them in Australia. They're now there. I think we can assume they're currently there without visas to get back to America. So why this is so frustrating, I have some inside news for all of you I'll share with you in the future about Winterfox. You gotta feel bad for a team like this, a team who is currently in ESL Pro League, not doing so well, but their owner has pretty much abandoned them and the project itself. All the time, money invested in these players, apparently they have not been paid for quite some time, at least since March, I believe, or at least the past month of April as well. So it's gonna be kind of fun to see how this actually turns out for this team, if anyone actually tries to sign them. Kind of an unfortunate story, which I'll touch on more in the future and give you guys more details on both sides. As always, hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of CSGO News. My name is Jake. Remember, I like you. Please leave a comment down below. I'll try and reply to some comments. I've just been so busy today and in the next week or so. But as always, live, love, laugh a lot. Remember, I like you. I will see you all tomorrow in a few days. Remember, I like you.